Three metro Atlanta counties have been ordered to freeze their voting machines as part of a federal lawsuit that is asking the courts to overturn Georgia's presidential election. This is all developing right now, and Brendan Keefe in the newsroom, a very familiar figure over the past 4 weeks, Brendan, and you now have some different information for us to sort of digest.
Yes, Jeff, instead of maps, we're now looking at documents. This is the lawsuit filed by Sidney Powell. This is that biblical lawsuit she talked about, releasing the Kraken. Here are the actual plaintiffs. They essentially are the presidential electors that would have been Trump's electors had he won the state. You can see this was hastily put together because the word district here is spelled two different ways just on the first page, and both of them are wrong. The lawsuit goes on for literally hundreds of pages, blaming Antifa, the ghost of Hugo Chavez. Literally, they're saying that the Dominion voting system was really the Smartmatic voting system, even though they're competitors, and that Hugo Chavez, who died 7 years ago, was behind the whole thing. This is important to point out. It's the first lawsuit to actually allege fraud. All of the others that the Trump campaign had filed would not use the word fraud in court. This does. And they also not only use the word fraud up here, but they also go on to blame specific counties, saying the fraud was particularly egregious in Forsyth, Paulding, Cherokee, Hall, and Barrow counties. Another important thing to point out here is the relief they're seeking. What are they seeking? They're actually seeking the elimination of all mail ballots from the counting in the 2020 election, or alternatively, installing Donald Trump as president of the United States, at least as far as Georgia's electors are concerned. The Democratic Party is out with its own response, asking to be part of the lawsuit. They're not right now. They're asking to dismiss this because they're saying it's essentially absurd, that the declaratory relief being requested is unprecedented and also unbelievable. So we're going to follow this, but right now, a lot of these things are based on affidavits, but no real physical hard evidence.
But Brenda, we have seen lawsuits not quite like this, but lawsuits that have come out to try to stop President-elect Biden from assuming office in January, and they've gone nowhere. They've all been tossed out.
Well, they have until December 8th. That's when the electors essentially have to be declared by the state. Really, they have till December 14th. Right now, some powerful figures behind this. Lynn Wood is co-counsel, and then also Sidney Powell, former federal prosecutor. So even though there's no hard physical evidence, we're going to keep an eye on this one.
Lynn Wood, who represented Richard Jewell. Thank you very much, Brendan. For the very latest on Georgia's elections, including spelling of the word district, you can visit the live blog on 11alive.com. We update it throughout the day.